Hi again, Sandra Espinoza, designing sewist teacher and sewing blogger, and I want to talk to you today about Halloween. I think that sewing costumes for Halloween is so much fun, and I tend to be unprepared for the things that I want to use in the very short amount of time I have to make things, because I tend to wait until the day before Halloween or even hours before an event to even make anything. So I wish for everyone to be prepared for Halloween and to be able to just pull things out of their stash to be able to make stuff. Okay, so my point here is this. My point is you don't need a lot of stuff to make a costume. You can make a costume out of little bits of stuff. Case in point, my daughter wanted to be Cleopatra. She had a project she had to do for school, and I decided that I was just going to use what I had. And so I did have, just like I talked to you a little bit before here, I had this blue satin remnant, and it was about, I want to say it was probably just under a yard of fabric. So I made a cape. And I had these little things become her sleeves, so that they go, like her hand goes through there and it's a little cape. But the interesting part here is that these little sleeves were parts of a chandelier with little lampshades. And I had recovered those lampshades for one of my clients. I had put a beautiful white linen on her lampshades, and I took off this creamy colored one because it didn't match her interior. So I took them off knowing that I would need them for something, because they looked like they could be sleeves at some point, and I've had them for 2 years, and it just so happened that this was a perfect opportunity to use 2 of those, and I used them as these sleeves for her cape, so that when she wore her Cleopatra gown, she could spread her cape out and it could still be attached along her arm. So her little arm is along the edge here, and her hand goes through this little sleeve. But those little bits of trim I was talking about, I only had little bits of trim. Little bits. I'm talking under half a yard, under quarter of a yard. So I made a detail on her cuff. And again, just little bits of those trims and fabrics that I have. These little tassels that I have on the edge, these came off of shopping bags. So that's a shopping bag handle. That's one side. And I have the other handle on the other side. So all I did was just kept the knots on the end and figured out how to wrap them around this piece on a lampshade. That became her little cuff. And I want to tell you too that this little detail at the bottom that I did, she lost these beads. These had beads all the way across. They were so pretty. But she stepped on them, and so we lost some beads. It didn't last 2 hours. But I made a detail again here. I made a detail with bag handles, and a few beads left over from the same strip. I had 4 or 5 beads left over, and I just strung them and made another little detail. And this black tape was, this little twill tape is underneath this GIMP type embellishment. These are all just exactly the lengths that I had to work with. I didn't buy anything extra. I didn't buy anything to make this costume. I was actually surprised I had all of this stuff. But all I want to say is that you can save little bits of trim. You can buy small bits of remnants, and you can make an adorable costume. You don't need a lot. You don't need to spend a lot of money. You don't need to spend a lot of time either. I did go crazy here because I was trying to recreate Cleopatra. But, you know, these beads I've been hanging on to for over a dozen years, and it was pretty. I didn't know what I was ever going to use it on, but Cleopatra, she wears gold, and it just so happened to have gold bits of this and that, and it all ended up coming together. None of these things actually match each other. I just put them together in such a way, and put the palette together in such a way that they all worked. So that's just that kind of deal there. The other thing that I made for her was a headdress. So this is the Cleopatra. This is that front part right here. This is that Cleopatra piece, right? This is that front emblem. So all that is just gold buttons. You see, it's just gold buttons all attached on another little, it's just a little piece of fabric, and it's another just little little chunk of fabric that I had. It happens to be kind of a bronzy gold tone. I just had packs of buttons that I keep for just instances just like this, which actually this is the first time I ever used my stash of buttons, so I admit that. And this bullion is just a bit of trim that I had left over from a client that wanted me to lengthen her drapes when she moved into a new house. So this is all just what I had. Literally, that's it. I used what I had and I made do, and it worked. And so my daughter had fun. It was a fun day for her. I don't think you have to go crazy with Halloween. I don't think you have to go crazy with any kind of costume that you ever make. But I do encourage you to save and to organize your room and your workspace in such a way that you can take advantage of the stuff that you have and you can make some awesome stuff. So that's it. That's my 2 cents about, being resourceful. And that one little gold button right there, I've had that gold button since 1989. And I think I had one button left over from this beautiful Issey Miyake vest and pant thing that I made when I was in high school. But I had one button left, and I've been kicking around that one gold button, and it came in handy. It was the center of her medallion for her headpiece. So anyway, just have fun making costumes. Don't be serious, just have fun. Imagine, be imaginative, take advantage of the stuff that you already have in your stash. Don't go crazy buying more stuff. You can make do with what you have and then spend just a little bit on the parts that count or the parts that you need to. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Sandra Espinoza again. If you like what you see here, you can always subscribe to this YouTube channel, or you can check out my website at ethelandi.com for more sewing shenanigans. Thanks for watching.